Welcome to Rick Zero. We've got some breaking news because Joe Biden announced that he's dropping out of the presidential elections. With us today is Nima Hairy. He's a political analyst and American himself. So, Nima, I'm first of all super curious. And first of all, sorry, welcome and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
When you heard the news yesterday, what did you think of it?
Well, I was both surprised and not surprised. I was a bit disappointed that it led to Biden having to drop out, but I understood the decision. I accepted it and immediately was thinking of the next steps.
Did you see it coming?
So I think that for the immediate days before, it was getting quite clear that the Democratic Party was creating a sort of pressure on Biden to drop out. I think that Biden wanted to be resilient and not adhere to the pressures, but it is clear that in the weekend something happened. Sunday morning, he invited three of his closest people, Vice President Harris, his chief of staff and president of his campaign, and announced that he will step aside and announce only around the midday, 1:45, to the rest of the staff that he will drop out. And it was a surprise, but it was something that was inevitable given the successions of events that were happening beforehand.
Yeah, because I think it's very interesting. You say that he made his decision himself, and I kind of really doubt that. Of course, like George Clooney came forward saying that they should have another candidate. Then you know it's bad. Even Hollywood actors think he should be replaced. There were rumors that even Obama wasn't convinced that he was eligible to have another term as the president of the United States. Do you really think that this is a decision that he made fully by himself? Because obviously, like he said before, I will stop being a candidate if God makes me. So
Yeah,
was it
yeah.
really his decision?
I think that he felt isolated for sure, frustrated, and in a way maybe betrayed by the allies around him. That in a way felt that the allies turned on him when he needed them the most. It is true that, for example, you referred to George Clooney. He wrote an op-ed on the 10th of July saying that Biden should step aside. And 2 days before that, Carville, who was the famous political analyst that coined the term "It's the economy, stupid," he proposed that Biden step aside and for a convention to be put forward to select the best Democratic nominee. And since then, yes, Nancy Pelosi stepped forward and, in a way, started increasing the pressure on Biden. So yes, there were external factors that led him to decide to step aside. And these factors are from the Democrats themselves. It wasn't external in the sense that it wasn't like the Republicans or others. It was really the Democrats themselves that were putting pressure on Biden. But he could have stayed on. He could have decided to go forward. But I think that he realized that with Netanyahu's speech afterwards, it would have been Hail Mary. The Democrats would have put all the stops to make him step down. So I think that he, out of frustration or out of understanding of the circumstances, made the final decision to step aside.
And now, of course, it's Kamala Harris is going to run for candidate. Do you think she was a good decision? And also because, like you said, they've said maybe we should have a convention to see who would be the best candidate. They decided to go for Kamala. Overall, she's not the most popular vice president. What do you think of this decision?
So Joe Biden endorsed her, but Obama or Nancy Pelosi have yet to endorse her. So she hasn't really gotten the endorsement of everyone. So we still have to wait for her to be accepted. And the way it works is that she needs, out of 1,981 delegates, she actually needs, out of 1,900 81 delegates to be nominated. So far, of the 3,800 delegates that Biden had, 500 or so have pledged to vote for Biden. But the entertainment industry did vote for her, as in they gave their endorsements to her, and she gotten a lot of praise and around, if I'm not mistaken, 80 million in donations in the last 16 hours. So there's a lot of momentum behind her choice. Now, is she the best one? There are different levels in terms of the financing, the war chest that they had, the campaign committee. Was dependent on Harris being part of the ticket for them to be able to touch that money. If it was anyone else, they had to start from scratch. Similarly, in terms of the precedents, I think that the image is now a prosecutor versus a convicted felon. So the narrative has switched. It's not anymore two old men, one a successful businessman, potentially corrupt from the Democrats' point of view, or on the other side, a man who was in public service, a career politician. It's no longer this narrative. The narrative is now a woman from a diverse background who's young, who's running against an old man, the oldest nominee in the history of the United States, actually.
Well, I think what you're saying is interesting because at the same time, of course, we see that Trump was literally almost assassinated. He really handled the situation well. I really think it really gave him a good publicity in the election because he handled it with grace, he stood strong. Do you think that by changing the candidate for the Democrats, they have a good shot of winning the elections?
I actually do think that, I'm under no illusion that it will be complicated. It will be a challenge. But given that the narrative has changed, there is actually a good chance that Kamala Harris could win because the Republicans had invested against Biden as a candidate. Right now, they lost narrative. They are kind of, in a way, scrambling to find a way to attack her. I don't think that Trump would be ready to have a debate against Harris. It would not be the same type of dynamic as they had the debate with President Biden. And I think that, the challenges that are there for Kamala would be one, whether her name could be on all the ballots in all the states. That's one challenge. Second one is whether she can have all the delegates, necessary delegates. We don't know if other candidates potentially could come forward. Right now, there's discussions that you have potentially even other centrists that left the Democratic Party come back and run against Kamala Harris. But at the end of the day, I don't think that it will stop Harris from winning. I actually think that it will depend on who she selects as her VP. There are 7 swing states, and if she picks one of the VPs from the 7 swing states, her shot at winning could be actually quite high.
And then last question. I mean, you're American yourself. You can get to vote in November. Who would you vote for if Kamala would be on the ballot? Would you still endorse her yourself?
Well, look, I think that every individual vote counts, and I think that in a way, this is more about democracy at play. It's true that Biden had 14 million of the votes during the primaries. People voted for him to be the candidate, but he had to step aside. Now, the elections, the American elections, are one that will consist of unprecedented historical events. The French were able to hold an election in 6 weeks. I think that the Democrats and the Republicans will be able to hold an election in the span of 3 months. There are about 106 days left. And it's true that we've seen things in the process that are maybe unfortunate. For example, the assassination attempt on Trump, it's unfortunate. It means that the temperature needs to go down. There needs to be more grace. There needs to be more understanding, more discussion between the two camps. And for that reason, I still don't know who I will vote for. I will have to wait till the end to see what programs they push forward. I've yet to hear about Trump's program. I heard about Project 2025. I don't know if that's officially going to be his program or not. And similarly, we're going to have to see what Kamala Harris, or who the candidate for Kamala Harris is going to be, and what she will push, what she will propose to the American electorate. But at the end of the day, I think that it's very promising that there has been a change, and I'm excited to hear what's going to come forward.
Well, exciting times ahead of us. Nima, thank you so much for your time and sharing all of your knowledge and thoughts. And of course, thank you for our viewers for watching.
Thank you very much.